In the rush to capitalize on the artificial intelligence revolution, the market has obsessively focused on the creators of the technology, the chip makers, the cloud giants, and the software developers. But as we move deeper into this technological era, a new, undeniable reality is emerging. AI does not run on code alone. It runs on massive, uninterrupted streams of electricity. The data centers training these models are thirsty beasts, demanding gigawatts of power 24/7. This has created a bottleneck that silicon cannot solve. The solution lies in the physical grid, and specifically in the hands of companies that can provide baseload, carbon-free power at scale. Today, we are going to tell the story of a company that saw this future coming decades ago, endured immense pain to prepare for it, and is now standing alone as the only utility in the United States with a brand new nuclear fleet ready to power the AI economy. That company is Southern Company, ticker symbol SO. To truly appreciate the position Southern Company holds today, in late 2025, we have to rewind and look at the difficult journey they undertook. If you look back at the annual reports from 2020, 2021, and 2022, the narrative was dominated by one word: WOG. Plant Vogtle Units 3 and 4 in Georgia were the first new nuclear units to be built in the United States in over 30 years. For a long time, this project was a source of fear for investors. It was billions over budget and years behind schedule. The financial reports from those years are filled with charges, cost overruns, and tense negotiations with regulators. Wall Street looked at Southern Company and saw a risk. They saw a construction project that might never end. But management, despite the criticism, held the line. They understood something that many short-term investors missed, that in a carbon-constrained world, intermittent wind and solar would not be enough. They knew that reliable 24/7 nuclear power would eventually become the most valuable asset in the energy sector. Fast forward to the annual report of 2024 and the earnings calls throughout 2025, and the script has completely flipped. The construction risk is gone. Vogtle Unit 3 entered commercial operation in mid-2023, and Unit 4 followed in 2024. The 2025 financial filings confirmed that these units are not just running, they are operating beautifully, providing over 2,200 megawatts of emission-free power. This is a massive competitive moat. While other utilities are just now talking about maybe building small modular reactors in the 2030s, Southern Company is generating cash from new nuclear today. This transition from a construction story to an operations story has fundamentally de-risked the stock and improved its cash flow profile significantly. Now, let's look at the demand side of the equation, which is the most exciting part of the 2025 analysis. In the Q1, Q2, and Q3 2025 earnings calls, a consistent theme emerges: load growth. Specifically, economic development in the Southeast, particularly in Georgia, is exploding. But it's not just traditional manufacturing, it is data centers. The Q3 2025 report highlights an extraordinary pipeline of data center projects looking to connect to the grid. These facilities require massive amounts of power, and they need it to be reliable. You cannot run a billion-dollar AI server farm on intermittent power. This is where Southern Company's all of the above strategy pays off. By having nuclear, natural gas, and renewables, they can offer these hyperscalers the reliability they need with the clean energy profile they want. The financials in 2025 reflect this new reality. In the Q3 2025 earnings call, we see a company that is hitting its stride. Adjusted earnings per share are growing consistently in the 5% to 7% range, a target they have met or exceeded for years. But more importantly, the quality of those earnings has improved. With the heavy capital expenditure of Vogtle behind them, cash flow from operations is robust. This allows them to pay down the debt accumulated during construction and, crucially for income investors, continue their streak of dividend increases. Southern Company has a track record of raising dividends for over 2 decades, and with the cash flow machine of Vogtle now fully online, that dividend looks safer and more capable of growth than it has in years. However, the story of Southern Company is not just about nuclear. It is about a diversified portfolio. We see in the 2025 reports that their other subsidiaries, like Alabama Power and Mississippi Power, are also modernizing their fleets. They are retiring older, less efficient coal plants and replacing them with cleaner natural gas and renewables. This isn't just good for the environment, it's good for business. It lowers fuel costs and reduces regulatory risk. The company has set a goal of net zero emissions by 2050, and unlike many corporations that set vague targets, Southern Company's path is paved with actual steel and concrete infrastructure that is already in place. Let's discuss the Southern Link asset mentioned in the filings, which is often overlooked. This is their wireless communications subsidiary. In a world where the grid is becoming digital and smart, having your own secure private wireless network to control grid assets is a strategic advantage. It enhances reliability and cybersecurity, issues that are becoming paramount as the grid faces threats from extreme weather and cyber attacks. This resilience was proven during the storm seasons mentioned in the 2024 and 2025 reports, where their investments in grid hardening allowed for faster restoration times compared to peers. The regulatory environment, often a risk for utilities, appears constructive in their key territories. The public service commissions in Georgia and Alabama have historically recognized the need for infrastructure investment. The 2025 filings show that the company is successfully recovering the costs of its investments through rates. This constructive regulation provides visibility into future earnings. Investors hate uncertainty, and Southern Company offers a level of predictability that is rare in today's volatile market. So, what is the verdict for the long-term investor looking at Southern Company in late 2025 and beyond? The bust phase, the years of construction delays and financial stresses, officially over. The boom phase is just beginning. We are entering a nuclear supercycle where clean baseload power commands a premium. Southern Company has already done the hard work. They have poured the concrete, laid the wires, and secured the permits. Now they get to harvest the returns. As the AI revolution demands more energy, Southern Company is positioned not just as a utility, but as a critical infrastructure partner for the tech economy. They offer the defensive characteristics of a regulated, utility-steady dividends and low volatility combined with a genuine growth narrative driven by the electrification of the American economy for investors seeking a blend of income and growth backed by real assets that cannot be replicated. Southern Company represents a compelling opportunity for the next decade.